Am I the a-hole for asking my mother-in-law to leave our wedding even though she paid for it, after she brought my husband's ex as her plus one? I, 28 female, met my husband, 27 male, 4 years after we divorced someone who everyone in his family calls the love of his life. It's okay. I don't really care if they think that way because my husband has assured me that it's not the case, and that he'd never consider her the love of his life. He told me that they were pretty toxic, and that the relationship grew so bad that the best for both of them was to let go, even when his first wife, Mindy, didn't believe it. It was pretty hard for me to get accepted into his family, especially for his mother because she was so in love with Mindy and adored her as her daughter-in-law. They were pretty close, and even got depressed after Mindy moved to another state since she didn't want to be near my husband. Time went by and my mother-in-law and I bonded after the traumatic loss of my father-in-law almost 2 years ago. His passing crushed her horribly, and my husband and I tried to be there for her as much as we could since he's their only child. The joy came back to her life after we had our first son, and mother-in-law found a new push to live thanks to him. And even though we didn't become the perfect family, we're close enough to let mother-in-law know that she'll never be alone again. But when the pandemic began, money became tight for us. And after having our baby, my husband and I decided to prioritize our needs. We used what his father left him and some of our savings to buy a house, and decided to have a small celebration after we were legally married. But my mother-in-law said no. She offered to pay for it since she was proud of my husband for doing what was best for our son. At first we said no, because it didn't feel right. But my mother-in-law convinced us, saying that she didn't want to miss the wedding just as her husband did if we ended up taking too long. We made it small and simple because we didn't want to take advantage of her, and we even let my mother-in-law have her way in some decisions. Then when the big day came, she has Mindy by her side, and my husband and I are confused. My mother-in-law approached us and we asked her what was happening. She said that she had invited her to the wedding because it was a special day. My husband said that yes, it was a special day for us, and that Mindy had no business being there, and would appreciate if she left. My mother-in-law looked at me, but I said that I feel the same way. But my mother-in-law got angry, and said that she paid for the wedding and she could invite anyone she wanted. While we both agree, we said that Mindy wasn't really anyone, and that it was the fact that she didn't tell us before, rather than inviting her. Then she said that if Mindy had to go, she'll follow, and my husband said, then do. She ended up saying that she's gonna stay, but that we had to tell Mindy to leave, which my husband gladly did. My mother-in-law spent all the evening mad, and after the wedding, we offered to pay for half of it or even everything if she wanted, but she said that the damage was already done. Now for the top comments. Not day home. I would go no contact with her faster than I could type this comment. Yeah, this just screams narcissistic parenting. This. And I suggest you seriously consider if you want to leave your child alone with her. This, interactions about the wedding, give me a bad feeling that she may try to turn your child against you and can communicate and converse. Be wary. She cannot be trusted. Not day home. The fact that she quickly pointed out that she is the one who paid for the wedding makes me believe that this was her plan all along. She absolutely planned to be sneaky about this, or she would have told them who she was bringing ahead of time. It sounds like Mindy lives out of state now, so this required planning. It was not a spur-of-the-moment decision. Why would Mindy have even wanted to attend the wedding of her ex-husband that she moved out of state to get away from? What the actual hell is wrong with both her and mother-in-law? Not day home, and really weird that the ex would even want to be there. Right? I'm confused why the ex bothered coming. Super weird situation all around. I'm guessing mother-in-law was hoping that the ex would show up and her son would be overwhelmed by his love for her and he would send his fiancée away and still hold a ceremony. But with the ex. The ex was in on it too, obviously. Next story. Am I the a-hole for kicking the best man out of my wedding after he disrespected my fiancé? I've been best friends with Jeff since 7th grade. He spent a lot of time at my house because his parents are very strict and religious. He had a cool laid-back mom, and everyone wanted to hang out at my house. Jeff got close to my mom and pretty much lived there unofficially during high school. My mom hates the woman I'm marrying. It's a work in progress, and I have to make a lot of sacrifices to defend my fiancé. Jeff is aware of all the drama that has been going on, and for the most part doesn't offer his opinion, though he has occasionally told me no relationship is worth losing my mom over. My mom and my fiancé got into a huge fight over my mom's dress for the wedding. That issue actually worked itself out because my mom found out she's pregnant, so she couldn't wear the offending dress anyway. and she's very happy about the baby and doesn't care about fighting with my fiancé anymore. Jeff heard about the dress drama from my mom when he was hanging out with my cousin at a family cookout, which I did not attend. Then Jeff sent me a text calling my fiancé a controlling, insecure little girl, and saying I am an idiot if I would lose my mom over some witch. He admits he had been drinking when he sent it, and said he is sorry for calling her a witch, but that his sentiment stands. I did tell my fiancé what he said. I decided I can't have a best man who doesn't support the relationship and who disrespected her. I told Jeff he is still invited, but can't be the best man. He took it all right, but admitted he is worried about our friendship. My mom told me that I'm a horrible friend and becoming a fake person. She said she would never have a best friend she couldn't be honest with, and she wouldn't marry someone who was so sensitive that she had to protect them from words. Our friend group is pretty split 50-50 on this, so I don't know if I overreacted. Not today, Hall. I mean, there is probably a lot more to the story and why your mom and friend don't like your fiancé, but based on the content of your post, your reaction is justified. What was the issue with the dress? Was it white? Just attaching myself to your comment here because I'd love an answer from Opie. Why do I have the feeling that Jeff is your mom's baby daddy? Could it be so? Info. What was the issue with the dress? What are some specific incidents that have come up between your mom and fiancé? Not today, Hall. Your mom sounds nuts. Your fiancé may be a little immature, but definitely not deserving of what your friend said about her. The dress was too sexy. My mom believes in 100% body autonomy 100% of the time and doesn't like clothing very much. Always have to be showing some skin. My fiancé said it was attention stealing and inappropriate for a wedding. The issue started pretty early on. My mom is ice cold and somewhat abrasive and refuses to do normal things like make small talk. My fiancé then insinuated that I must not have gone to Disney as a kid because I had a young single mom. But I grew up well off and we traveled a lot, so my mom didn't like that. Then my mom found out they had the same college degree/major and told my fiancé she wasn't going to make any money. But my fiancé pointed out that my mom makes very good money, but my mom just said she is special and my fiancé doesn't have what it takes. My mom then got a boyfriend and decided she didn't need us and told us how much she hates my fiancé. Then my mom had a surprise wedding without being engaged, and my fiancé thought it was too close to our engagement and called her out. So my mom called her jealous and insecure and said she was mad because her dress cost more than your life. My mom gives a lot of unwanted opinions about what is wrong with our relationship and thinks my fiancé is jealous and controlling because she has some insecurities. And my mom is more along the lines of pointing out women to her husband and talking about threesomes. Then my mom announced she was pregnant at my fiancé's graduation party, obviously on purpose. My fiancé was like, "How are you having a kid? Aren't you 50? Which pissed my mom off because she's 38 and looks a good 10 years younger. So she asked her loudly about if she had gotten a job in the industry yet, knowing she hadn't. Now my mom is bragging about how we have no power over her because she doesn't need our kids because of the baby, and my fiancé feels like my mom's trying to act like it is some do-over family and called her out. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not paying 50% of the rent? I moved in with my boyfriend 4 months ago, and we agreed that I would pay half of the rent and utilities. I'm not on the lease, and the utilities are in my boyfriend's name. We have a 2-bedroom apartment. The second bedroom used as a combo home office for me and music studio for him. Then 3 weeks ago, his brother moved in. I came home from a weekend trip with my sister and found him there. No discussion beforehand. I was pissed. My boyfriend swore it was for a week at most until his brother moved in with a friend. So I spent a week on the living room couch. Well, to no one's surprise, that didn't happen. The friend decided he didn't want the brother to move in, given that the brother doesn't work, doesn't clean up after himself, and is a general jerk. Even my boyfriend admits this about his brother. So I can't say I blame the friend. My boyfriend says he can't kick his brother out when he has no place to go, and begged me to give him a couple of months as I had started packing my things. I reluctantly agreed, and boyfriend ends up moving my desk into the living room, where I have no privacy while I work at his music stuff, into a corner of the bedroom, where we are basically tripping over it so his brother can have a bedroom. I told boyfriend he has 2 months to get his brother out, or I would move out. It gets to the time of the month for me to send money to my boyfriend for bills. I send him 25% of the rent and 33% of the utilities instead of 50% for both. And boyfriend is upset, saying that is not what we agreed on. I told him I also don't agree to live with his brother, and I'm just paying what I feel is fair given that. My thinking is that every apartment I have shared, you pay rent by bedroom and utilities by person. Boyfriend starts freaking out, saying that he can't afford that, and that I agreed to his brother staying. I told him that I agreed to not move out. I did not agree to financially support his brother. He told me that I can't just change our agreement, and I pointed out that he had when he added a third person to the apartment. Boyfriend insists he doesn't have enough money to pay that much, as he's short on money and his old roommates moving out is one of the big reasons I moved in. Boyfriend says that he will end up having to not pay something, and that it will kill his credit when he has been working on rebuilding. He tells me that he is already short because he is having to spend more money on groceries with his brother there, as I flatly refuse to pay for more groceries. Still, I refuse to budge. Boyfriend insists that I'm trying to hurt him financially because I'm angry with him and being petty. I am angry, and I know that I can make bad decisions when I'm mad. However, thinking about it, I don't think I should have to support his brother. Living with 2 other people should cost less than living with 1 other person. However, I'm doubting my own judgment. Am I being petty out of anger? Am I the a-hole for not paying 50% of the rent? Edit. This has come up many times. Why didn't I tell boyfriend ahead of time that I wasn't going to pay 50% as normal? The answer is that I never thought about money until I went to transfer him money for the monthly bills. That was the first time I realized that I would be financially supporting the brother if I kept paying 50%, and I decided I wasn't going to do it. Now for the top comments. Not a-hole. As you say, boyfriend changed the rules without asking you. And you were getting less use out of the apartment because you no longer have a home office in a separate room. You have no privacy in the living room when you are working. Your bedroom is cluttered with the music stuff. You have an extra person using the bathroom, taking showers, etc. In every way possible, your enjoyment of your living space has been reduced. Thank you. That is my reasoning as well. It's not just that, Opie. Your boyfriend was only able to afford to move his brother in because you were paying for half. Your boyfriend would not, otherwise, have been able to support his brother entirely. So basically, what he's doing is forcing you to support his brother because he can't himself. I think you need to move out, because this is a much deeper problem than just being blind because of family. Your boyfriend has bad credit and is rebuilding, and yet he allows his brother to stay without contributing? I now understand why he has bad credit. He is incapable of making good financial decisions. And is fighting with you over how much you pay for his brother instead of fighting with his a-hole brother over not paying, / not getting a job at a time when jobs are going begging? OP, if you stay with this dude, his family will be your responsibility for life. Not to mention your boyfriend's poor financial decisions. Reconsider. Not a-hole. That is what I finally realized when I started to transfer money to boyfriend, which is why I changed the amounts to 25% and 33% instead of 50%. I won't let this happen long term. When I said I would move out if the brother didn't leave in 2 months, not 6 weeks, I meant it. Darling, move out now. No, you're not a-hole. Your boyfriend is forcing you to support his brother. Everywhere is hiring. This is immature bullcrap. Seriously, get out. That's the key. Opie needs to just move. Opie seems capable if she was packing at first. But the boyfriend is both inconsiderate and disrespectful. You don't move extra people in on your girlfriend or roommates. Literally everywhere is hiring. Even if he has to work retail or fast food for a bit, it's something to get back on his feet. Not a-hole. He breached your agreement the moment to let his brother stay there without even consulting you. Why doesn't brother get a job? There are tons of places hiring, and he can just get his lazy butt out and find one. Because he is lazy. There is nothing physically wrong with him, but he is the youngest child and spoiled rotten. He honestly believes manual labor is beneath him, and he doesn't have the skills to get non-manual jobs. When even his parents got tired of his BS and kicked him out if he didn't get a job, he started couch surfing. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for wanting my boyfriend to come support me at the hospital and then being upset that he didn't? I'm 26 female, am currently almost 15 weeks pregnant. Just under 3 weeks ago, I started bleeding fairly heavily while at work and had to go to the ER. I drove myself and called my 24 male boyfriend over and over on the drive to the hospital. It took about 7 calls before he answered because he was playing a video game with his friends. I asked if I could pick him up because our apartment is on the way, but he told me to go straight to the hospital, so I did. Once I got there, I had to stay for a few hours. Our boss, we work at the same place, was worried and called me to check on me and ask if he wanted her to go pick him up and bring him to me. I called him and asked, but he said no because he didn't want to make her do that. I told him she was offering, but he still said no. He stayed on the phone with me for a little bit, but was still playing with his friends and was pretty distracted. My phone ended up dying, and I spent the last 2 hours there alone, terrified I was losing my baby, and being told to stop crying by the nurses because I was going to stress baby out. When they finally discharged me, I had to drive myself home. When I got home, I told him I was upset that he left me alone with no support like that. He argued that he didn't have a way there. I reminded him about our boss offering, and that's when he told me that I was ignoring his fear of hospitals and doctors, and it was unfair that I expected him to just get over it to come sit with me. Then he said the next time he sees a big spider, he's going to push me to it and tell me to get over it. Part of me thinks he should have been there for me and our child, but part of me feels like maybe he's right and I was being inconsiderate of his feelings. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Just be aware he will not change once baby is born. You're gonna be in for a whole lot more poor behavior on his part. He'll be off playing Monster Hunter while she's in labor. Irrelevant, but that was actually the game he was playing while I was in the ER. Monster Hunter literally almost ruined my, very new, marriage. My husband plays tons of video games, but for some reason, that was the one that caused me to stop existing. Husband is not allowed to get the new one, and quite frankly doesn't want it because of that. This is horrific and so sad. The last part about a spider really shows his character. Honestly, he sounds absolutely horrible, and a bad person to be around whilst pregnant. I think you should leave him.